In this video, I'm going to show you how to take the bow out of a violin case. And if you haven't already done this, please go see your child's teacher. They can show you how to do this. This is more of a refresher for those who've done it before. So the first thing should be to check to make sure that the case is actually sitting the right direction, because it is possible to open the case upside down. And so this case has a couple of tells. One is that there are feet on the bottom. So if I see the feet on the top, I know I've got it upside down. Another one is that there's text, and so if the text is upside down, I've probably got it wrong. And the third one is that up here there is a zipper part that is used to hold music, and that is almost always on the top. And if somebody designed a case upside down for that, I'm not sure what they're thinking. So you undo the zippers on either side, undo this latch here, and then this case, every case is a little different, has a squeeze mechanism. So I squeeze, and that undoes the latch, and then I'm able to open the case. Looks like the last time I had the case open, I didn't quite have this all the way turned. And it is a good idea to make sure that when we'll talk about this at the end of the video, that is perpendicular, just to maximize the safety. We're always about making sure that things are safe. I'm also going to quickly point out, the bow is longer than what you see. It actually is in here, tucked in, the tip of the bow further in. So we'll talk about that. So you saw me play with this thing here. If you turn it, you can turn it either direction. And then that will allow me to pull the bow off. One thing to note is that if the bow hair gets caught, so let's see if I can do this. So if I turn it and I'm hitting the hair, obviously, of course, it's not going to do it. Okay, well, it is possible to hit the hair. Just trust me on that. So what you want to do if that's the case is just turn it a little bit clockwise, and it will rest here. Just turn a little bit clockwise to clear the hair. Okay, so then now that it's set, I'm going to get my thumb and my pointer finger around the stick. This is called the stick. And I'm trying not to touch the horsehair underneath, because if I do, it leaves an oily residue. So if at all possible, do not touch this part, because it will permanently affect the horsehair. And then what that does is it makes the bow skate a little bit in those spots, and then you can't hear the sound. You can add rosin, but it would require you to take it to a violin shop and have the bow rehaired. So try not to touch that. Okay, now as I'm taking this out, remember I showed you earlier about this being obscured. And so we don't want to pull it straight out. Otherwise, you could risk snapping the bow. I mean, if you pull really hard. But what we do instead is we pull it just so it clears this little notch there. And so that, if you have a little strap thing here, that you can clear that as well. But I'm only turning it a little bit. I do not want to hurt that tip. Now that I've got it clear enough, I'm going to then pull it horizontally this way. And then as I pull it this way, it reveals the rest of the bow. Once that is clear on both sides, then I'm able to take it out. Okay? And then you can turn it sideways. Generally, it's not a good idea to touch it to anything, but if you're really careful, you can rest it very gently here without putting any pressure on it, and then walk your hand up like this, because I'm doing this one-handed, obviously. And then I have my finger, I can put it in this little notch here, and then with my notch finger, my thumb, and my pointer finger on all three sides, this is making like a bit of a tripod grip, then I can lift it up. This part here is not too fragile, this what we call the frog. It's not too fragile, so you can put a little pressure there. But again, try not to touch the horsehair with this middle finger here. So you lift it up and down, etc., etc. Now, if we want to put it back into the case, we're going to reverse the process. Again, I'm going to very gently set it down. And then, since I'm doing this one-handed, this is how I twist it. I just made that up. And then we've got the case, so we want to now turn and get a good grip again on the stick of the bow. Okay, so I'm just gonna walk my hand down. I have the point down here, but I'm not putting any pressure on it. I'm just letting it rest. Turn it sideways. Okay. And now I've got it backwards. So if this happens to you, like it just did for me, I guess walk your hand back up and turn it. So I guess it should be facing this way. I don't know why I did that. That's funny. But now I've shown you an extra step. just in case it happens to you. So now I've got I can put my fingers here. My thumb, my pinky's really useful here because I can rest it here, put my index finger here, and I'm going to turn it. Okay, so just lift it up a little bit. So now it's off the ground, and then I'm going to turn it like that. Okay, it's almost like a bow hold, but this is my left hand, not my right hand, and the left hand is the one that doesn't do a bow hold. Okay, now I'm going to gently move it forward until it makes it in there, still angled at this angle, and then very gently scoot it in just a little bit, and then start moving forward, and then make sure I get it all the way in. Like you can feel it. There's a little bit of resistance once the tip is there. Don't push too hard, just gently. Make sure you keep a grip, because at this point, if you drop it, you will be dropping it on the violin, and that's no good for the bow or the violin. Okay, and then you can push it in here. Make sure it clears that little latch. Now that I'm in, I can turn it. Again, with the hair, if you need to, you can kind of tilt it this way towards this direction so you can clear it, and then turn it, and that's it. So easy, right? But again, if you have not done this with your child's violin teacher, I strongly suggest you do as soon as possible, because you will probably have to take this bow out at some point.